Okay, if you have accessed this video, then you have solved number 3 incorrectly, and so we are going to solve it together. Okay, we are using our UPS check, and so to understand, we are going to cube our problem. We're going to circle the numbers, we're going to underline the question, we're going to box important information, and we're going to eliminate anything we don't need. All right, so question number 3 says, a recipe calls for 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/3 cup of white sugar. How much sugar does the recipe require in all? Okay, so we want to circle our numbers. I have 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. Those are my only two numbers. I'm going to underline the question. How much sugar does the recipe require in all? Next, I'm going to box information. Okay, so I have 3/4 of a cup. I have 1/3 of a cup, so my units are the same. How much sugar does the recipe require in all? In all means that I'm going to add. Okay, and I do not need to eliminate anything in my problem. Okay, so now I'm going to plan. Since I know I have to find out how much it requires in all, I'm going to have to add my fractions. Okay, and so when I look at my fractions, I see that they have unlike denominators. Okay, so I have to add unlike denominators. Okay, so that tells me that I have to do something before I can add them. I need to find a common denominator. Okay, so here's my plan to solve this problem. Okay, so I have 3/4, and I want to add it to 1/3. All right, my denominators are not the same, so that means I need to list the multiples of 3 and 4 until I find the first one that they have in common. I'm going to start with the 4. Start with your larger number because then you should be able to figure out a lot sooner what they have in common. So I'm going to go 4, another 4 is 8, another 4 is 12, and I already know that 12 is going to be my common denominator. So I'm going to go count, I'm going to do my multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. So here is my common denominator. That means that I can make equivalent fractions of 12s. So I'm going to put 12 here. Okay, so just like in our notes, I have to find out how many times does 4 go into 12. What do I do to 4 to get to 12? I'm going to multiply by 3. I'm going to do the same thing to my numerator because what you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So that gives me 3 times 3 is 9, so I have 9/12. I'm going to do the same thing to this fraction. 3 times what gives me 12? That is 4. So 1 times 4 gives me 4. So now my fractions are 9/12 plus 4/12. My denominators are the same, so now all I have to do is add my numerators or combine my numerators. I have a positive 9 and a positive 4. When I put those together, I get a positive 13. My denominator stays the same. So now I have 13 over 12. That is an improper fraction, so I need to change it to a mixed number because for one, I don't see my answer 13 over 12. So I ask myself, how many times does 12 go into 13? 1 time with 1 left over. And so your answer is 1 in 1/12 cups. Okay, so you have to now go solve the additional problem on the back side of this paper. It is a very similar problem, and it will solve in the same way. So good luck.